Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Ground Truth's webinar on 2020 consumer trends with location marketing. My name is Rachel Nobles. I am an account executive with Ground Truth, and my co-host today is our Senior Manager of Marketing Insights, Nicole Genchur. We are beyond excited to spend the next 45 minutes with y'all. We're going to take the first 30 minutes to address content, and then we'll devote 15 minutes at the end for Q&A from attendees. So y'all feel free to submit any questions that you have anytime throughout this presentation. Today's agenda includes a brief overview of location marketing and how Ground Truth verifies and interprets visitation data. Nicole is then going to share helpful strategies and insights gathered over the past 12 months that can be applied to predict what media and shopping preferences the coming months will bring for 2020. And then finally, we're going to use some of the tips that Nicole shares to create a mock campaign within our self-serve platform Ads Manager. So let's go ahead and get started. Oops, sorry. Okay, so since 2009, Ground Truth's focus has been to launch the idea of location as its own category within the marketing landscape. So similar to what Google did for search and what Facebook did for social. Over the last decade, we built a platform that's focused on using the power of location intent to drive performance. This concept emerges from the belief that a person's physical location patterns paint a more robust and true depiction of who they are as a consumer. So, for example, I may be visiting online websites like West Elm and Restoration Hardware to get ideas onto how to decorate my new house. I may even follow some of their pages on Facebook and like some of their posts, but in reality, I am actually walking into retailers like Home Goods because it's actually more aligned with my budget. So how does Ground Truth take location data to reach relevant consumers at the right place and the right time? First thing we do is we pinpoint device IDs, and secondly, we want to contextualize their location information. Our partnerships with over 120,000 different mobile apps like Pandora, ESPN, Words with Friends help us to understand the location data of mobile device IDs who access these apps. Once a device ID is identified and the location data is vetted for accuracy, we contextualize the device ID's location information through our proprietary technology, which is called blueprints. And blueprints are essentially just surgically precise virtual outlines of points of interest and or businesses. We actually have over 5 million blueprints in our system to date. So the blueprints functionality can be categorized into two buckets. The first one is visitation to help detect past and future foot traffic and also provide the metric of a visit. And the second is creation of targeting tactics that are unique to our platform, such as first-party audiences that are aggregated based on past visitation patterns. So for example, we've got behavioral audience segments like affluent shoppers, car enthusiasts, sit-down diners, and we also have a lot of brand loyalist categories as well. So people that are in and out of particular brands and points of interest. So to wrap up, Ground Truth believes that location reveals a more accurate representation of consumers, and utilizing location-based marketing strategies can help identify and reach your most relevant consumers in real time and or really over time based on their physical behaviors. And finally, our technology provides brands and agencies with the holy grail of offline attribution, which is the metric of an in-store visit. So now that everybody is up to speed on why location, I'm going to let my co-host Nicole take it from here. She's going to spend a few minutes talking through the 6 consumer trends to watch for in 2020.
Thanks, Rachel, for the intro. So it's that time of year when marketers look ahead in the hope of predicting what media and consumer shopping preferences the rest of the year will bring. So in an effort to help you navigate, Ground Truth is once again using our knowledge, experience, and data to compile and share 6 consumer trends we're likely to see in 2020. So let's get started. Okay, so the first trend we're reporting is that time spent with mobile devices continues to rise. So you can bet a new smartphone was on countless holiday wish lists this year because mobile devices are playing a bigger role in consumers' lives now more than ever. In fact, over 70% of the US population currently owns one. And according to eMarketer, US adults spend close to 4 hours on their mobile devices every day in 2019. That's more time than they devoted to watching TV. So you can see on the chart on the right, patterns from back to 2014, and then in 2018 we saw that crisscross where mobile was overtaking TV with time in regards to time spent. And the majority of that time is allocated to smartphones, where consumers spend 2 hours and 55 minutes daily in 2019, up 9 minutes from 2018. So no wonder they're doing so much more mobile shopping now. Smartphone-based retail sales increased by close to 40% last year, and you can bet this trend will continue in the months to follow. So with that said, the in-store experience will continue to shift as well. And consumers may opt to do more of their shopping online, but that doesn't mean they won't still visit brick and mortar stores. It does, however, mean that retailers will have to give them a good reason to shop offline. So creating an exciting and immersive in-store experience will be a top priority for retailers in the new year. Retail concept stores like Story at Macy's, which you can see a photo on the left-hand side, which offers a narrative-driven shopping experience, and Away, the luggage brand, which invites consumers to build their own travel uniform from luggage and other travel necessities, are only the beginning. Pop-up shops will thrive, and interactivity will play a big role. So online retailers, including Amazon and Refinery29, are already getting in the game by selling curated items at their pop-up events that help consumers move seamlessly between their online and in-store experiences. So along those lines of, the shift of the in-store experience, we'll see more digital and cashier-less checkout technology implemented in stores. So we'll also see brick and mortar stores embrace digital technologies that make it faster and easier for consumers to shop offline. When you're competing with online retailers, convenience really matters. So as we reported earlier this year in our Ambassadors of Brick and Mortar blog series, Amazon Go stores are going strong, capitalizing on the ease and novelty of cashier-less, just walk out shopping. So using a blend of computer vision, sensor fusion, and deep learning, Amazon Go allows consumers to shop and pay via app and simply grab the products they've purchased. The grab and go concept isn't exclusive to Amazon though. This trend is hitting grocery stores too with the help of technology from companies like Caper and Grabango. Global consultancy A.T. Kearney reports in its 2019 Consumer Retail Technology Survey that 72% of consumers rank technology that speeds up the checkout process as their most valuable retail technology. And meanwhile, as you can see from the chart on the left, 59% of US digital buyers say they'd be interested in using grab-and-go stores that feature smartphone-based self-checkout, which is the top technology they're interested in, followed by interactive shoppable screens and home delivery. So consumer trend number 4 is more consumers will be leveraging BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store. So cloud-based technology company Order Dynamics found the US is currently lagging behind countries like the UK, France, and Germany when it comes to offering these services. But 42% already offer BORIS, which is buy online, return in store, and that's indicative of things to come. Order Dynamic notes adoption rates are highest among retailers with more than 251 locations. So the chart on the right shows that according to the NRF and to Luna Analytics, the top reasons consumers are primarily attracted to this service is because it lets them save on shipping costs, with 64% citing this, followed by because they need something right away at 37%, or they received a discount or promotion to give it a try. So the top categories people are interested in shopping this way is clothing, footwear, electronics, groceries, beauty and personal care items. according to eMarketer, those are the most popular choices for buy online, pick up in store shoppers. It's also important to note that Gen Z consumers are particularly drawn to this technology. Mailbox tech company Package Concierge data shows more than half, 58% of internet users between 18 and 25 have tried this service before. So a consistent trend over the past few years has been that personalization is crucial, but varies for each shopper. So as you might have expected, personalization will continue to be a big buzzword in 2020. Keep in mind, though, that a personalized, cohesive brand experience requires an omni-channel marketing strategy. And most companies just aren't there yet. So according to a poll conducted by customer data platform Evergage, only 26% of US marketers have their channels connected. But companies are going to make great strides for this in the new year. Just remember, consumers are most interested in personalized content related to products that interest them at 50%, products based on their previous purchases or searches at 43%, and this is in the chart on the left. They want updates on availability or pricing at 43%, and then retargeting related to the exact product they're looking for, fourth on the list at 35%. So our final and last trend is shoppers are opting for sustainable and local products. So while technology, along with the push and pull between online and offline retail, will influence how and where consumers shop, that won't be the only thing driving their shopping decisions. According to Ground Truth's 2019 Value of a Visit study, 86% of respondents shopped at a small business in the past 6 months. And 55% of them cited the desire to support local businesses as their reasoning for shopping local. And you can see that on the chart on the right, the top reasons for people shopping small business. Sustainability is another factor impacting shopping behavior. Increasingly, consumers are opting for paper and metal straws over plastic ones, along with organic products and cruelty-free brands. In response, many companies are going green or making zero-waste package-free products their value prop in a bid to attract environmentally conscious consumers. So it's going to be another interesting year as retailers do their best to keep pace with consumer preferences and demands. As the consumer landscape continues to shift, keep these trends in mind because preparation will be critical for connecting with shoppers wherever they may be. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to hand the mic back over to Rachel, where she will be diving into our Ads Manager platform.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. So based on that information, we have a lot of really cool, incredible insights and strategies that we can draw from to help us create successful drive-to-store campaigns. So now what we're going to do, we're going to jump into the Ads Manager platform, and we're going to go through a high-level overview of how to create a campaign to drive in-store foot traffic. So first thing I actually wanted to show you guys is what a blueprint actually looks like. I know that we've talked a lot about blueprints, but I think that being able to kind of visualize what a blueprint looks like to put that into context is going to go a lot further when we get into the platform itself. So what I've pulled up so far is a blueprint of a DSW in the Atlanta area. Now, all blueprints that we build out in our system are going to have 3 different layers. The first layer that you have is this green that you see, which is the in-store layer. The second one is the parking lot that's affiliated with a particular store, which you see here in orange. And then finally, the retail block that a store sits within is shaded here in pink. Just to kind of give you guys an overview of what a blueprint actually looks like in our system. So let's get into Ads Manager. This is Ads Manager. This is our platform for anybody that has not seen the platform yet or hasn't created an account. If anybody on this webinar is interested in learning more, creating your own account, if you reach out to any one of our account executives on the team, they'll be more than happy to take you through kind of a deeper dive demo. But what I've done so far is I've created a mock campaign, and we're going to cover today how to drive visits back to my local store, which is called Kick's Shoe Store. So in order to drive visits back to a local retailer, we're going to focus on 3 different targeting tactics. The first one is going to be competitor conquesting, really focused on targeting people in and out of competitor locations to kind of steal that market share. The second one is going to be retargeting those same competitor visitors. And the third is to focus on relevant audience segments that are relevant to my business. So I did go ahead and build all of these out already just to stay on track from a time perspective. But I'm going to quickly walk you through all the different targeting tactics that you can choose from within the platform. So as you can see, we've got 3 main targeting tactics to choose from. First one being target by location, which allows you to send ads to people in real time based on where they're physically at. The second one is target by audiences, which essentially is going to allow you to retarget people with ads based on locations they visited in the past. And then the third and final is target by weather. So sending ads to people based on particular weather conditions. So for example, if you want to send ads after a storm in a particular area or when it's raining, whatever that might look like. And then within target by location, we've got 3 different ways to reach people based off of their physical location. So we've got on-premise, which is sending ads to people currently inside of a store, within the parking lot or within the retail block that I showed you guys in the blueprint and discovery, of a particular point of interest or a store location. The second one is neighborhoods, which is essentially sending ads to people in nearby areas that have a high visitation frequency of visiting a particular store or point of interest. And then the last one is geotargets, which is essentially radial fencing. With geotargets, you can really get as wide or as granular as you'd like. You can get as granular as a 0.1 mile radius around a particular lat-long coordinate or an address, or you can serve the entire United States depending on what your goals are for a campaign. So we are going to get into what I've built out so far for a local shoe store. And first thing that I'm going to walk you guys through is targeting Kicks, which is my shoe store's name, local competitors. So the first targeting tactic that I built out is on-premise. And as you can see, I built out targeting tactics for different competitors that are national or regional brands that I compete with. So you can see Adidas, Shoe Carnival, DSW, New Balance, and Nike. What I also did was I built out a location group for some of my local competitors that may not already have been blueprinted in our system because they're not a national or regional brand. To show you Location Manager, whenever you want to build out a blueprint, you are going to go here to this Add New Location Group button. And this is going to take you to a totally separate platform called Location Manager. Location Manager is how you can build out not only competitor locations that you want to target people in and out of, but you can also build out a blueprint for your particular store. And that's how we're going to track those physical visits back to your store. So you can see I have 2 separate location groups here. I've got my store location, and then I've got about 16 competitors that I added in here as well. Now back to the targeting tactics. So these are the locations that I want to reach people in and out of. In order to make sure that they are local to my store in my area, I just went ahead and applied an additional location filter of the Atlanta, Georgia DMA, so that I make sure that even though they're in and out of these national and regional brands, I know that they're actually only in and out of these brands that sit within the Atlanta DMA. From there, because my main metric is to track visits back to my local store, I went ahead and added that in under my drive to destination. So I selected real world drive to location, and I added in my Kicks store location here. From there, once you decide essentially up here who you want to reach and what you want them to do once they're shown your ads, down here is where you can get even more specific if you choose. So you can get much more specific on the demographics. You can get more granular based off of gender, household income, ethnicity, even age range, if it makes sense. You can also choose between device targeting. We default to mobile app. Apps have the most accurate GPS data, but you can also enable the ability to run on mobile web as well by selecting all. When you're deciding on the optimization strategy, this is not necessarily when you have to decide what we're going to report on. This is more just what you want your ads to optimize towards. So when you optimize towards a delivery, which is what I do recommend for any drive to destination, you're basically going to maximize out delivery to get the max amount of impressions that you're able to serve. If you optimize towards a click, then we're going to deliver ads to people that are expected to provide a higher click-through to your landing page. We're also going to try to only run on apps that historically have higher click-through rates as well. Secondary action, you can optimize towards when you use any of our ground truth customizable landing pages, which we'll get to on the next page under ad creatives. And then we also have online conversion. So basically think of optimization strategy as a funnel. This is the widest part of your funnel is delivery. Again, if your main goal is physical visits back to your location and you're deploying an on-premise strategy, delivery is going to be highly recommended. It's going to enable you to send ads to people, anyone that's in and out of these locations, regardless of whether they typically click on an ad or not. Last couple things on this page. So publisher categories. These are the different app and website categories that you can choose to or to not run in if you or a client has particular categories that they want to stay within or avoid. And then last but certainly not least, very, very important here is to build out a retargeting audience for your campaign. I highly recommend that everybody build out a retargeting audience. Even if you're not sure if you're going to use it, I always say it's better to have it and not use it than to want it and not have it. So basically what you're doing here is you're building out an audience segment that our system is going to build for you based on these targeting tactics. So anybody that you're initially serving an ad to that's in and out of these locations, whenever they are initially served an ad, they're going to be captured into this audience segment that you guys can use to then re-message and re-engage those same people down the road well after they've left the locations that you'd set up to target. Now next on the platform is getting in your ad creatives. So when you're ready to add in your creatives, you're going to click here on new creatives. We've got 4 different types of creatives that you can add in. We've got image, script, video, and HTML. These are the 4 core sizes that our platform supports. So we've got your 320 by 50 and your 300 by 250. These are your 2 mobile sizes. And then we've got a 320 by 480 and 728 by 90, which are 2 tablet sizes. So these 4 sizes together reach over 95% of the mobile inventory out there. So highly recommended for all campaigns that you build to have all 4 of these sizes added in. And this size here is just one example of the 320 by 50 size, the mobile banner size. From there, you can add in your own click-through URL right here. So basically whatever the website drive to destination is going to be, or if you choose, we have a fully customizable landing page that anybody can use to drive people to the landing page that they want. This is a really good use case for an actual drive-to store location, or if anybody, either whether it's your own brand or your client, doesn't necessarily have a site that's mobile optimized. Last but not least, once you have in your creatives, you are going to be brought to the budget and scheduling page. So Ads Manager, we have no minimum spend requirements. We have no contracts, no fees. The only minimum that we operate on is a $3.50 CPM, which essentially means that you're spending $3.50 per 1,000 impressions. So you're going to set your $3.50. You're going to decide how long you want your campaign to run and what type of budget you want to allocate for the length of time. And then you'll click save. From there, once you have your initial campaign set up of competitor conquesting, using that same retargeting audience that we built out, you're going to also create a separate targeting goal. You're going to make it target by audiences, and you're just going to add in that retargeting audience segment that we built out in order for you to then continue to remessage and re-engage with those same people, like I mentioned, after they've left the on-premise locations that you initially hit. And then everything else can be the same, your drive to destination, all of your creatives if you want it to be the same, or you can change it out. However it makes the most sense for you guys to do and deploy a retargeting strategy. And last but certainly not least is our audience segment targeting. So we have over 400 different audience segments to choose from within the platform. It's all built off of first-party data, and it's all built off of physical visitation. So we've got behavioral audience segments, we've got brands. So for example, just relating back to what my local shoe store, who my target audience might be, I went ahead and added in shoppers, just general shoppers as a behavioral audience. I added in shoe fanatics. And then I also wanted to add in and interact with people that are DSW brand loyalists, because people that typically shop at DSW will then come around in turn and shop in my local store. And again, from here, everything else is the same. Your drive to destination. You can build out a retargeting audience for audience targeting as well. Audiences. And then keep the same creatives, same bid price, and you can decide kind of what types of budgets you want to allocate depending on which targeting tactic that you want to put most of the budget towards. So that is a very quick overview of the platform and best practices. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the Q&A portion of this, and we will go from there. So let's get into it. Let me start at the beginning and make sure that I cover all of the questions. Okay. Can we do a blueprint with 2 layers like building and parking lots? So yes, you can customize any blueprint that you like. I would say that when I said that every blueprint has 3 layers, it's depending on whether those 3 layers exist, right? So let's say that one particular points of interest maybe doesn't have its own parking lot. Maybe it has actually a parking deck instead of a parking lot. So yes, whatever the blueprint makes the most sense, those layers will be allocated. But if you want anything customized or specialized, you can just reach out to your account executive or your platform specialist, and they can kind of help you get built out what's most relevant to you and your business. Okay. File size recommendation on the ads, time frame for GIFs and video. I am not too sure what you mean by time frame for GIFs and video, but so George, if you wanted to kind of specify your question, I can follow up with you later. As far as file size recommendations go on the ads, if you're doing your static images or GIFs, those 4 sizes that I covered in the overview earlier are the main recommendations in pixels. So your 320 by 50, your 300 by 250, 728 by 90, those are kind of your core sizes that you really want to focus on. Okay, let's see. All right, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay, so I read that ground truth utilizes a speed threshold to record more accurate physical visits. What is the threshold set at, and can it be adjusted? So that is a good question. We do have a speed functionality built in order to throw out if somebody's like actually driving by a particular location. That's more so for targeting than it is for actual physical visits. But Travis, I can get back to you on exactly what the speed is set at. And then depending on your specific needs and kind of what you're looking for your campaign, we can talk through, you know, potential strategies and adjustments from there. Okay. So, can you attach these dashboards that can be easily viewed by anyone? Actually, I think if you're well, I want to make sure that I fully understand what it is that you're asking. If you're asking about embedding an API into the dashboards, and that's definitely something that we can talk about. But what we'll do, Ashley, we'll have an account executive that's assigned to you follow up and kind of verify your questions, and then we can go from there. Okay, besides apps, where else do your ads show? So we also have the ability to run in mobile web as well. So for example, if somebody's going into going into your Safari and going to a certain website, your ads can show there. All right, Bruce asked, how do we know what CPM to use per campaign? So that's actually a really great question, Bruce. It is going to be dependent on your targeting tactics and kind of your daily reach and estimated number of impressions. So for example, if you are running a location-based campaign for an event, let's say that you wanted to target a trade show, for example, that's only running for 2 days. If you have a short amount of time frame to reach your targeted audience, then we might recommend a little bit more of an aggressive CPM in order to make sure that you capitalize on all the impressions that are out there. You can get with your account executive or your platform specialist to talk through suggested CPMs, but in general, I would say as a whole, that 350 minimum should get you where you need to be as far as performance goes. Okay, so Joe said, can you specify where your ads would run? Our ads run on a number of different types of apps and websites. Just to kind of walk you through a couple of like our top apps, like Pandora, Words with Friends, ESPN, weather apps. WeatherBug actually is an owned and operated app of ours. So there are tons of different apps and websites that your ads can run on, but Joe, if you have more specific questions, like I said, when your account executive follows up with you, they can dive deeper into that. Okay, is clicks mainly for website traffic, and should we do higher bid for that? Okay, yes, so it depending on what you want to optimize towards. I think that's what you're asking, George, about clicks and the optimization strategy. If your main goal of a campaign is to drive people back to a particular website, then you might want to focus in on clicks. But if your main goal is an actual physical visit, then I would highly recommend that you do delivery as your optimization strategy. You do not need a higher bid, whether it's a physical visit or a click, just so you know in the platform. Okay, I think that is all the questions that I have seen so far. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything in here. I think that just about covers it. So thank you all so much for joining. We really appreciate everybody that joined. We hope that everyone who hopped on found this to be really helpful and informative, and appreciate all of you taking the time out of your day. Our team will be following up with you all, so if anyone has additional questions or wants kind of more specifics on ways to strategize how this can work for you or your specific business or your client's specific business needs, like I said, you'll have a dedicated account executive who you can set up a call with and really run through a deeper dive of the demo. Lastly, we will be sending out a quick survey that we'd love for you guys to participate in and see how we did. Thank you guys again all for joining, and we look forward to hopefully doing business together.